begin with, let me ask, who here has seen either Interstellar or Jurassic World Rebirth? For those who haven't, or as a quick reminder, Interstellar is about a desperate space mission to find a new, habitable planet as Earth faces ecological collapse. Jurassic World Rebirth follows a group of scientists hoping to extract a rare dinosaur DNA, hoping its biology could unlock breakthroughs in medicine. Very different films, but they do share one thing in common. They both revolve around ambitious, science-driven missions with the power to transform human life. Of course, these are just stories. But in reality, scientific missions with equally big potential are happening all around us all the time. Missions that don't just advance human knowledge, but reshape the way we live. But what if I told you that the biggest impact of these missions isn't what they set out to do, but what they discovered along the way? To use a notable example, an accidental discovery was made in 1972 when NASA and the US Geological Survey launched the first Landsat satellite into space to track the Earth's geology from it. But rather than merely mapping the Earth's basic geological features, as had been the original plan, its advanced multispectral camera exceeded all expectations and revealed something far more powerful. It could track forest and vegetation levels in different regions, water use, and even the so-called health of the planet itself. These side effects have proved very powerful, as they have allowed agricultural producers to produce food based on numbers and to see how they should change this based on the exponentially growing population of the world. And it's also allowed scientists to track climate change and deforestation in the Amazon. It is exactly for reasons like these that scientific research is never a waste. And at the heart of this breakthrough was Virginia Norwood, the pioneering engineer behind Landsat's scanner, whose quiet work quietly reshaped resource management as we know it. But unfortunately, society doesn't often recognize the purpose of these missions, especially ones that require a large budget to fund them, critiquing them as too expensive, too niche, or as just for scientists. People claim, why spend billions of pounds on space exploration when we have problems here on Earth? Although a valid point, it fails to recognize the fact that an investment in science is an investment in the future, and that doing so offers solutions to said problems. The US Geological Survey's discovery is just one example of how accidental discoveries can have huge outcomes. Take the revolutionary role of MRI and CT scanners. They've saved countless lives by allowing doctors to see inside the body without surgery. But the technology behind them actually doesn't originate from hospitals at all. It actually traces back nearly 60 years to the Apollo lunar landings. Digital signal processing was initially developed to enhance pictures taken of the moon, but has since laid the foundation for many bioengineering principles since. There's no denying that the cost of Apollo 11 was enormous, $26 billion at the time, which is nearly $260 billion today. But its effects went far beyond just reaching the moon or creating a new invention, aka the MRI and CT scanners. It actually went far beyond that, igniting a sense of wonder, curiosity, and possibility in many younger generations, inspiring the next few generations of scientists to come, and maybe the next wave of scientific breakthroughs and missions. Another example of an unexpected outcome, this time more an invention and less a discovery, so to speak, was the creation of the World Wide Web at none other than CERN, the particle physics lab. Now, I imagine you're all wondering, why would a physics lab create the internet? Well, in response to that question, in 1989, a British engineer designed it as a framework to allow for the quicker transmission of research files and data between CERN's global research labs. and to replace the prior, less inefficient and manual distribution of said research data. What started as a tool for physicists is now something the whole world relies on. Personally, I can't imagine my life without instant access to information, education, or even just the hundreds of websites we use daily right at my fingertips. The thing about scientific missions and discoveries is that you never really know when the next one's going to happen, or what it will be. That's why, now more than ever, it's crucial to encourage as many young people as possible to get into all aspects of STEM, whether this be a traditional science, a newly emerging or evolving science, or an interdisciplinary science. After all, maybe the next big scientific breakthrough which will change the whole world will come from someone sitting in this very room. But for that to happen, we've got to keep breaking down the old stereotypes, primarily that science is somehow a male-dominated field. I can't help but wonder, how is it still the case that only 15.7% of engineers in the UK are women as of 2023? How come, of the 12 students in my own further maths class, only 2 of them are girls, including myself? That is exactly why we need to encourage more women to go into STEM. History has shown that some of the most groundbreaking discoveries have been made by women, such as Virginia Norwood from the Landsat scanner, and members of other often underrepresented groups. By no means is gender inclusion in STEM a new idea, but it's rather a conscious reminder that we need to constantly put out there. As astrophysicist and pioneer of scientific study Stephen Hawking once said, "Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet." In saying this, he hoped to communicate the fact that scientific progress only really happens when we're willing to look beyond ourselves, when we stay curious, keep asking questions, and push at the edges and boundaries of what we know. Just like in Interstellar and Jurassic World, scientific missions and discoveries aren't only about finding a new scientific species or reaching a new planet. They remind us that science isn't only for specialists, it's for all of us. Thank you.